Who's ready for Q&A time?
Oh boy, I don't know. Are we ready for a Q&A? It's been a little bit.
It has been a little bit. We're excited though.
Yeah, we are. So we actually have not done a Q&A since our transfer.
Yep.
The last Q&A we did was probably about like 2 months ago or so.
Yeah, about 2 months ago. And we have answered a few of you guys' questions kind of sporadically over the last few videos.
Yeah. But so I actually posted over on Instagram a little while ago asking for any questions you have regarding pretty much anything, but obviously most of this is centered around infertility and embryo adoption and transfers and doing IVF.
Yep.
So we received so many questions, so thank you. We actually asked it over here on YouTube as well, so I kind of combined the most common ones. Obviously we can't get to all of them, but hopefully I'll cover a lot of the common ones that you guys were wondering about. And yeah,
we're excited to dive in. This is fun.
Should we just dive in? Let's roll up our sleeves and dang, I need a treat. I should have brought over like a snack or something, you know? So what's really exciting though, there's a lot of new faces around here, which is awesome. So welcome to Jared and Britt. Jared, Britt,
there you go.
Finn as well. We got our little puppy here. Which, speaking of that, we have a question about him in a little bit. So, all right, you guys, let's just dive right into it. So probably the most common question we got is, well, there's a few of them. But starting with, do you have embryos for another transfer?
Yep.
So for any of you that are new here, we did embryo adoption, which we will get into that here and that whole process in a second. But the answer is yes. We are so grateful that we do have other embryos to try more transfers again.
Another opportunity, so we're very, very grateful for that.
Yes, obviously the past few weeks have been kind of like a roller coaster. We've had some really hard days, but kind of day by day, you know what, we are getting the courage to try again, and we're trying to focus on the positivity of everything and that we do have other chances. So yes, we are so excited that we do have sweet little embryos we can try another transfer again with.
Yeah, so, very excited about that.
Next question is, when will you do another transfer? So, yes, we have answered this in a previous video, but basically, instead of jumping right into my next cycle and doing one right now, we wanted to do just about a month break.
Just and I think that's probably wise.
Yeah, you guys, just mentally, I think, and emotionally, like, I think we just need a little bit of time between the two. We talked to our doctor as well, and that was her recommendation. She actually
recommended 6 to 8 weeks. And the thing that was interesting is that, like, I mean, I can't speak for Brittany, like, you know, physically, obviously, because she's the one, you know, going through all of it. But like, just mentally and emotionally, and like, it's just so much. And and especially whereas we are traveling, so we live here in Florida, our embryos are located in Utah, and that's where our doctor is at Utah Fertility Center. And so we will be traveling back, and so it was just travel and everything, it's just a lot. I am looking into possibly transferring our embryos here to Florida, because I did find a doctor here that I did outside monitoring with for this past transfer. She's amazing. Which
we really, really loved. So, but it is a whole process. Any of you that have gone this route, just to get embryos transferred and shipped to like a different clinic, it's a long process. So I am gonna look into that, but it might not happen for this next transfer, just because we don't wanna wait too long for that. So anyway, just from logistics to emotionally to what our doctor recommended, we feel good. So probably June is what we're aiming for.
That's what we're thinking as of now,
and it depends on your cycle as well. So I think we're thinking probably June for our next one. So yeah, you guys, in the meantime, we're just trying to stay positive and
do things that we love, things that like bring us happiness, that sort of thing.
De-stress, you know, just all of that. So anyway,
best tip of advice right there.
Yes, try not to stress too much about it, because it's funny though, you say that you don't want to stress too much about it, but then like you guys that know, that go through infertility, it's always on your mind. Like you're always thinking about something with it. So try and balance the two a little bit. How did you match with your donors? Okay, so we mentioned this in that embryo adoption video. But basically there's a few ways you can match for embryo adoption. It's also, I mean, the technical term is embryo donation, because the embryos are actually donated to us, which is amazing. And then the only part you pay for is the legal process, and then also obviously the IVF process. So there's still a lot of cost involved with it, but It is such an amazing gift that people who can no longer, they go through the IVF process, right? And then they have leftover embryos and they have to make a decision whether they want to keep them frozen kind of indefinitely, if they want to discard them, or if they want to donate them to couples like us who cannot have biological kids.
Which is amazing. Just that alone is just an incredible gift.
Oh, there's no words for it. It's just incredible. And so basically what you can do is, there are, just like traditional adoption, there are agencies that you can like sign up with, and they have like donor profiles who have embryos, and they match you. I know a lot of people feel more comfortable doing it that way. However, like that comes at a big cost as well.
Premium. Yep.
And so I don't know, I feel like, we're not gonna go into all my thoughts on that right now. But how we actually matched was, and I know it might sound a little sketchy, you guys, but Facebook, which...
again, that probably does sound like a little sketch, but honestly, it's been an absolute blessing.
Yeah, so there were a few different groups on Facebook. They have thousands of members, you guys, but basically it's people like us, couples who are looking to do embryo adoption, and then couples who have embryos, and you just post on there. You have to get approved to join the group, and there's some vetting, which is awesome. You know, there are some safeguards in there, obviously. But then, so you post on there, and then you can just talk with other families, and you kind of just go back and forth, see what each other's looking for. For us, a big piece of it was we wanted it to be open adoption. So we've become really amazing friends with our donors. We've met them in person.
We're like homies now. It's awesome.
We just love them, you guys. And any kids that come from this, like, we're hoping, you know, they have a great relationship with them, and it's just more people to love them.
I know.
That was so awesome for us to think about, and there's no secrets. It's just like this family, I mean, they love these sweet little embryos so much, they want to give them a chance at life. And we just thought that was the coolest thing, to be able to give these embryos that were already created a chance of life. So
I know.
Anyways, the Facebook page, one of them is Christian Embryo Adoption. And then the other one, I can't remember. If you just search in Facebook, like embryo donation, embryo adoption, you'll see the pages. There's like thousands of members in them. So so basically we posted on there, and it's a really sweet, amazing story. We're not going to share all those details, but let's just say God's hand was very much involved in
100%.
having us each connect on there. And then from there, we just started talking, and we met, and it was a long process from start to finish.
It took a long time, for everything. Even still going, long process.
And the legal. So we'll probably do a Q&A just about the process of matching and all that in another video. But yes, so Facebook is how we match with our donors, and everything just kind of fell into place. That's why it kind of all just felt really, really right for us. And we just knew, like, the moment we started talking with them, and we were both looking for the same things, and it was easy, and
it's just perfect. Just literally perfect.
It's been really, really beautiful. So, okay, next question. Will you do anything different for your next transfer? So we kind of talked about this as well, but our doctor said she really wasn't planning on recommending anything different. However, she's like, one thing I started looking into was ERA, which they test you, that you kind of do like a mock transfer, and they take some of your lining and they test to see if it's the right timing, or if you need like more progesterone sooner or a little bit later, I believe. So that's one thing we are considering. I don't think we're gonna do it for this one. I don't think we're to that point. Like, all my levels have always looked amazing. Everything, like all my ultrasound scans, I've had water ultrasounds, I've had other tests done pre our other transfer, and everything's always looked really good. So I don't think for this next one we're gonna dive too deep into like that, or the immunology, because I know that can get, really pricey, and I don't think we're to that point yet. However, I do think I am going to be taking antibiotics, because that was one thing she mentioned. Sometimes you can have like a bacteria that you don't know you have.
Which I didn't even know was a thing.
Either did,
So when she brought that up, I was like, oh yeah, we should totally do that.
And you can test for it, but she's like, I can just give it to you a few days. It like doesn't harm anything. And that way, if it is a possibility, maybe you can just take that to help. So I do think we were going to add in that for this one, as well as I do think I might do acupuncture both before and after people talk about that. So
hey, it's worth the shot, you know?
You know what? You're already getting tons of needles. I've never done acupuncture though, you guys. I don't even know what it's like.
Yeah.
So
I don't know.
People say they like it. It's supposed to be like relaxing, I'm pretty sure, but who knows? Let me know if you've tried that down below, if it worked for you or your transfer, and also any other tips or advice you have for going into another transfer that worked for you, that were successful as well. But yeah, that's kind of where we're at for this next one. We're not going to change up too much just because yeah, there was nothing majorly that we have found so far, but for the next one, maybe we will. Any advice would be greatly, greatly appreciated. What motivated you guys to do embryo adoption? Was it female infertility too? So we kind of we went into this a little bit, but so basically, I mean, we took about a year, you guys. So for any of you that are new here, Jared was diagnosed with something called azoospermia.
Which basically means that my body just doesn't produce sperm. In fact, it doesn't produce any.
Yeah.
Yeah, which is, I think, even more rare. It's just very, very, very rare.
Yeah, it's very rare, and his is a genetic condition, so because of that, there wasn't anything he could take or do to like increase his chances.
We looked at all the different things. We studied it. We met with several different doctors, and they also kind of just said the same thing. Like, because it's a genetic condition, there's nothing you can do.
So we did do something called a microtesty surgery, where they go in and they see if there's any sperm there that they can extract to use for IVF.
In case there's like any chance at all. And it was a really, really low chance that that would even be successful. But we were like, you know what, we're gonna try everything.
Yeah, we definitely gave that a shot. And it was not successful, so that was obviously really hard to process. We took about a year after finding that out just to like grieve that loss that we wouldn't be able to have kids, like biological children together.
Because we went through a little while, like a couple of years of like the whole infertility, not knowing what the issue was, and then it hit us like a ton of bricks.
Oh yeah.
On a freight train.
Oh yeah, we were shocked.
It was all at once.
Yeah, and we have some videos on that. They're very emotional videos. It's yeah, but we shared some of that. We never even in a million years imagined it would be this cause, and we would be going through this and learning all this stuff. I imagine a lot of you that are on the same path feel the same way. Like you never expect you're gonna learn all of this and be on this path as well. So anyways, so during that time though, after about a year, we felt like in a better headspace, and we were ready to start looking at our options on, you know, how we could move forward. And we had never even really heard of embryo adoption. And when we heard about it, it just felt, I don't know, we were like, that's really, really neat to be able to, you know, I'd still be able to carry a baby, which is obviously something that I think would be amazing to do. But also we'd be able to bring a little embryo that's already created and give them a chance to come earthside as well. I know a lot of people always say to me, they say, well, why not like donor sperm? That's really common, I think. And for me, honestly, you guys, like, I don't know, when
that was something I actually did bring up to Brittany, you know, and
times.
we had a lot of deep conversations about it.
For me personally, like when I envisioned having kids, it was with Jared, and if it wasn't gonna be with Jared, it didn't matter. Like, I don't care about that genetic connection. You listen to people that they were the embryos that were adopted, now they're older, and hearing their stories and just how cool their relationship is with their parents and then their biological family. And it was just all from like a stance of love. Like their biological parents couldn't bring them here. They were either too old or they couldn't have any more kids, but they, you know, they didn't want to discard these little embryos, and then to be raised by parents, you know, that love them. And I don't know, just the whole thing was kind of
the one thing I really liked is that it said that DNA doesn't make a family.
Oh yeah,
and
so true.
You know, Brittany actually, it kind of light bulb with me a little bit is when Brittany had said to me, she's like, you know, you and I aren't related, but we love each other unconditionally.
Oh yeah.
And you know, and like we're not even related, obviously, to our dog, but we love him unconditionally. And so it's just like, oh my goodness, like, yeah, of course, you know?
Oh yeah, and that, I'm sure a lot of you are thinking, well, why not just traditional adoption? So we actually did, like, those were the two paths we started down. We were like, okay, let's start an embryo adoption, and we started getting like homestead approved for adoption. And we're not ruling that out by any means. I think maybe in the future even, it might feel right and fall into place. But we were kind of just left it up to God. We said, you know what, Heavenly Father, like, whatever's supposed to be, because these are really hard decisions and there's lots of avenues you have to think about, lots of people involved you have to think about. And that's when we were like, however it's supposed to be, which way, let that fall into place. And that's kind of how the whole Facebook message came up into place, and it all just like,
it was just
felt so right.
Absolutely guided, you know, and it was awesome.
Yeah, so you guys, we share this is our own personal experience. Obviously everyone's gonna feel differently and have different circumstances, and there's no right way or wrong way to, you know, start a family. And
the right way is however you do it.
And however you feel great. But this is just us and our experience. So hopefully that's helpful for any of you that are making those hard decisions on which way you are going to go when, you know, you need to make those decisions. Because it's very, very, it's emotional. They're heavy, hard conversations you have to have. Really, but you do need to have them and think through them. And anyways, that is how we arrived to embryo adoption. All right, next question. How old are you guys? So, I am 35.
And I am 38.
Yes, so we're not young anymore.
Not necessarily like old.
We've been, we're not like super old yet. But we have been trying, like as Jared mentioned, for the past 5 years.
It's been a long road.
I mean, it started during 2020, during COVID. I was seeing an OB. We had just moved here to Florida.
It was like right at the beginning of 2020.
Yeah, and I've seen them virtually, basically misdiagnosed. And then we waited about a year. We asked about Jared getting tested. She said he was young and she didn't think he needed to.
And it'd be me the entire time.
And his cute dad passed away unexpectedly, so that kind of just paused us all thinking about it for almost a year. And then after that, we did decide to go to fertility clinic, and that's when it kind of just flipped. And then we already told you that story before we got diagnosed and everything. So it's definitely been a long journey. But yeah, that's where we're at with it.
Any advice, if you guys are going through it, guys out there, get tested first.
Oh yes. 100%.
It's always the girls that get tested and they go through this long procedure, all these different tests they can do. It's just like, no, get the guy tested. There's one thing he has to do.
And it's not very hard.
It's not hard. And anyways.
We have to joke about it. I mean, come on.
Yeah, right.
There's so much hard in infertility.
Quick and easy to do. Yeah, quick and easy to do. Your wife can help you out, whatever.
Really quick. Okay.
But anyway, get that done, and it's just, there's one test you have to do, and it'll determine whether or not you're the cause, and 50% of the time, you are the cause, so you might as well get it done.
It's literally, statistics now, it's almost 50-50 male versus female factor, and sometimes it's both, for sure. So. All right, next question, are your embryos tested? So yes, the ones we adopted are, their biological family had them when they were going through IVF, had them PGT tested. So they are tested, and also if you are doing this, check with your clinic, because some clinics require, if you are doing embryo adoption, they have to like give you a green light on the embryos. They won't accept all embryos, and a lot of them require them to be tested. So just a heads up on that.
So if you're adopting some, you could maybe like screen for that, I guess you could say.
Yeah, when you're like matching with people, if your clinic does require that, make sure you know that information so you're not wasting a ton of time. This was one of our last questions, which I really loved, is how do you keep faith through hard times during infertility? Which, that's a deep question. That is a deep question.
That is a good question, and we had that come up a lot. And so I think for me, there's not just like one simple thing, but it kind of is at the same time. So
I'm curious to hear this. I want to hear what you have.
So you can either choose to be angry and turn away from God, or you can turn towards Him. And for me, I feel like, you know, we've had so many things in our life that just kind of like were unexpected and really hard to digest, I guess you could say. Like, you know, like when we originally found out about my diagnosis, and it was much more than just like the azoospermia. I found out like my testosterone was really, really low, and I was gonna have to take injections the rest of my life.
You had this genetic condition.
I had this new, genetic condition I had no idea I even had my whole life. Anyway, so there's that, and then like my dad passed away, I had my brother pass away. Like, there's just so many different things, and like, yeah, I could be angry about life, and like, why is this happening to me? But instead, I've just like turned towards God, like wholeheartedly, and just try to understand, like, you know, life is full of a lot of trials and challenges, and it's very difficult at times, but with God on my side, I can accomplish anything. Whereas if he's not on my side, then, you know, I feel like maybe I won't be able to. And that's just for me personally. I think it just brings me a lot of peace to just kind of like let go and just be a lot more prayerful about everything.
Let go and let God. Remember the other day you were trying to think of that? So many of you guys were like, that's the quote, let go and let God. So
I said it.
He was almost there to say it.
I think I said let go, let God. Or no, you know, whatever. Yeah. But yeah, that's the phrase. But yeah, I think for me, like, that's just what you gotta do. You're like, it's way better and way more beneficial that if you are, you know, like just more prayerful about things and more understanding and try to be more grateful, that when you do that, it brings you a lot more peace. At least for me, it has. It's brought me a lot more happiness. And I did, you know, when I first found out, I was kind of bitter and angry, and it's just like I went down that path originally, and it just led me to nothing but unhappiness. And so since then, I've practiced going the other direction, and it's been nothing but peace.
Yeah, I was gonna say that. I was gonna say I've done the whole turning against God and the bitter and the angry and the mad, and I do think like you are gonna have those moments regardless of how strong your faith is. I think you are still gonna have, that's just really natural to think, why us? Why is this happening? Like, you know, all of that, and your life's not going as expected or planned, which I know for everyone, it never does in certain aspects, right? Yeah. And yeah,
understandable.
I had a very hard time for a while about it. But yeah, I think it has been really neat to see, just as now we're this far into our journey, and to kind of look back and see maybe reasons of why certain things happened when they did, and things like that. That has strengthened my faith a lot. There are still reasons why I still don't understand why we're going through this, for sure. And that's where I'm hanging on to the faith, and it's, you know, strengthening my faith, you could almost say. And that's what faith is, right? Yeah. It's just trusting in the unknown. And I think another thing too is just like, you know, like our whole like testimonies, I feel like we've kind of built up these new, I want to say like new traits or habits, but like things that it's changed us.
Yeah, it changed us for the better though. Even though we were going through something incredibly hard and we still don't have a success story, it has changed us for the better. Yeah. And I will, you know, I don't think I'd ever trade that.
I just didn't think I didn't think he could get any better, you guys, but he does.
Like, you know, our habit, like we've developed new habits, and it's just been amazing.
Yeah, it's
like,
been,
you know,
that side of it. There's definitely positive sides. We've grown a lot. We've changed. We're definitely different people than we were before we started this, and I think we're more grateful for more things as well, like the simpler things. And I think it'll make us better parents, hopefully, or just more appreciative parents after all that we are trying to do to get there. But anyways, you guys, yes, and I do want to say that doesn't mean we still don't have our hard days. Like, we definitely have our hard days, but at the end of the day, we are trying to look at the positive in the faith, and just kind of just let God guide us through this whole experience. So hopefully that's helpful. I know that was a lot, but
well, it's a deep question. We could go into that like another hour.
We're not experts. I mean, we're just sharing our experience with all this.
That is a deep question though. But if you guys ever have questions on that, like, we're more than happy to.
Yeah, I will drop Jared's number down below. Oh my gosh. But yes, that was a great question. There were two others. I think these are from people that are maybe more new to our channel and did not know. So, but I still thought we got them quite a bit, so I wanted to answer them. One is, will you be moving back to Utah? So
for those of you who don't know, we live in Florida right now. We're originally both from Utah. The reason we came out here is because we were building a home in Utah, and we wanted to live somewhere kind of fun. And
by the ocean.
By the ocean.
We love the ocean.
Absolutely love the ocean. It's our happy place. And we decided to move to Fort Lauderdale, and then we kind of fell in love with Fort Lauderdale. And now our home is being rented out. Yeah. And so we've been here now we're going into our 5th year. So yeah, it's kind of crazy.
You guys, as of now, like, we just, as Jared said, this is our happy place. We love it here. We've put roots down here. We still see a family all the time. And so as of now, there's no plans to move back to Utah right now. So
yeah, but it doesn't mean that we won't.
Yeah, we still have our house there. There's always the option if we want to. But yeah, this is just home for us right now. So
when we think of home, we think of here.
And we do think of, if we do get the chance to have kids, raising them here along the ocean and taking the beach and just this lifestyle, like it's a very active outdoor lifestyle that really suits us, and we love that about it.
And like we're kind of get a little bit more into like the boating lifestyle. It's just like it's a very unique and fun lifestyle that we're not used to, and so for us it's like it brings us a lot of happiness. And you know, when we did live in Utah, we were constantly vacationing to the ocean, and because it was just a place that just brought us a lot of happiness.
And that's another thing, and it's just funny to see, I mean, this is all God's timing in His hand, but now looking back, seeing everything, as Jared mentioned, that we've kind of gone through over the last 5 years, the thought of living in our house in Utah, just in those circumstances, I think God knew we needed to be in a place that would bring us a lot of happiness and take our minds off things. And so,
it's got really emotional right there. Yeah, I can't even imagine like living in our house in Utah, going through all this, like surrounded by families and kids. Like it would be so incredibly hard, you know. But like here in Florida, it's just like we're surrounded by everything that we love, you know. And so.
And that doesn't mean we don't love our families.
No, we love our families. Here's the thing. Ever since we moved here, we were talking about it yesterday with some friends, and like we have develop like even deeper relationships with our families because they're constantly coming here to visit.
I mean, you that know our channel, we're always sharing, you know, when family comes to stay with us and the fun things and all of that. We love sharing fun things to do in Florida. And so, anyways, I think it's not by coincidence that we landed here, and we just still feel really good about being here. We love it. So you gotta, you wanna love where you live. For sure, and a place that brings you happiness, and that's here for us right now. Okay, last question. I know we're talking your ear off, so hopefully you're not asleep. But what kind of dog is Finn? So Finn,
we'll end on this one.
Finn is a toy cockapoo. So he's a Cocker Spaniel Poodle mix. And he is,
he rests his head on everything.
He's just the most cuddliest he's my little shadow. He comes with me everywhere. He's also a Velcro dog. So if you're in the market for a new dog and you're wondering kind of traits, he is a very people person dog. He is like never leaves your side. He has to be around people. Like when we leave, we feel so bad because he just loves, like he's sad. Like he literally wants.
He's not needy.
Yeah, he's very good, and they're very smart. Like he is so smart. It is crazy.
Yeah, I remember. Like he even knows like when we get off like on certain floors, and every floor looks the exact same. But like in our apartment complex, I mean, and like he will get off on a floor, he like somehow just knows like which door we're going to.
Yeah, but not just that. Just like when honestly when I'm talking to him and like commands and everything, they're just super smart dogs. Yeah. And he is hyperallergenic as well, so he doesn't shed. That's one thing. I'm not a huge fan of like dog hair and all that, but he doesn't shed.
He was the runt in his family, so like he's
little.
He's a part Cocker Spaniel and then part toy poodle. Yeah. So the male was a toy poodle. Yeah. So he's really small. And
he's just the sweetest. I will say he does think he's bigger than other dogs. He does have like the little dog syndrome for sure.
The other day we were on a walk.
He does bark at
dog that was huge, like a horse basically, and he was just barking at it.
Like Finn.
Your whole body's like the size of his head.
But and along the lines of infertility, guys, he is just like our little baby. He is like the sweetest thing. He's licked so many tears away from our faces. Yeah. He's just he's part of our family, and we just love him. He's the absolute best. Yeah. And we're so grateful for him. So
every day we do a little family hug.
I know, it's kind of cute. Whenever we get home, Jared's like, family hug, and he picks him up and we a little cheesy, but you know what? That's okay. Anyways, you guys, hopefully that helps get to know us a little bit better, our story, helps any of you that are on the hard path of infertility and going through some of these same situations, or just situations that are unexpected in life in general as well. So we love our little community that we have built here, you guys. You guys are always so sweet, so supportive, so giving, so loving. You give us such great advice and support us through all of this, and we just are so grateful for
we love you guys.
This has been an awesome outlet for us to share our journey. That was another question actually we got, is will you continue to share your journey? Because I know that whole video was really hard that we put out there, but the answer is yes. Like, we want to share the real side of infertility and real life stuff. And
for those of you who are new to our channel, which there's a lot of new faces, like, we are very just true to like who we are.
Yeah, we try to be. We try to be down to earth.
You know,
the good, the bad. It's all that's life.
So you're gonna get both, you know.
Yeah. Some days we'll just be sitting around, and other days we'll be out having fun, doing some fun stuff.
We try to do the fun stuff.
Yeah,
you know?
we do. If you've never seen our channel, we do love travel. That's something that brings us a lot of joy. We do a lot of travel videos, share our favorite places, experiences. We have lots of different playlists, from cruises to vacations. Lots of stuff like that. And we do think we're pretty fun when we travel. You get
a little biased,
you get a different version of us. But anyways, so yes, with that, you guys, we'll go ahead and close this video, but thank you so much for watching. If you're new here, make sure you subscribe so you can come along with us with this crazy journey. Who knows where we're gonna end up next, but
who knows?
Yeah, we love you all, and we'll see you all next time.
See you guys later. Bye.